Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We're going to talk tonight about, we're going to go through some headlines, and then I'm going to explain what's going on around the world because a lot of people do not see what's actually happening in the markets right now. We've been talking about some specific time points in Earth's history and financial history in the last 100 years, but it's really important to know where we are. Again, the dot-com crash was a stock bubble. The MBS mortgage-backed security crisis that led to Lehman collapsing was a real estate bubble, okay? Now we are faced with what is a currency crisis, a currency collapse. And actually, there are currencies all over the world right now that are collapsing. It's not just, and you know they're collapsing because of inflation, right? Because it costs more currency, more paper currency, fiat notes to buy goods across the board, right? But what's happening is all the currencies are collapsing at the same time. The problem is the dollar is a little bit stronger because of its world reserve currency status, which we are losing really rapidly. So it just looks like it's, and I always call it the best smelling turd in the punch bowl, right? So let's read a couple of headlines right now and just talk about them. This is one day ago. Citi says sterling dollar parity is possible as the UK risks currency crisis. Right now, the UK is in a currency crisis. As a matter of fact, many people might not know this, but the United Kingdom has a deadline of the end of September for you to turn in all of the paper notes or they will be completely worthless. They are trading them out with a new, was it polyresin material, which is really weird to me considering that they're going on a digital currency here pretty shortly. But, you know, that's what they're doing. They made this announcement a while back, and this new currency, the new fiat, you know, still crap currency, right, is going into place, and their paper notes are going to be completely worthless as of September 30th. So there's all these lines. People are freaking out at the last minute trying to, you know, dig up, you know, go to their mattresses or wherever they're keeping their currency notes. Please, if you're in the UK, let us know in the comment section what that's like. But that's not why the currency is collapsing. There's economic issues behind this, but they're not the only ones. Check this out. This is a day ago out of the South China Morning Post. This headline reads, soaring US dollar sends Asian currencies reeling. Now think about that. Right now, the US dollar is gaining strength, or its perceived strength, what people see because it's getting more yield, right? The Federal Reserve has been raising their benchmark rate, interest rate, which means that people, or banks really, not you or me in our savings account, you're not going to see anything, but banks are going to be able to get a little bit more yield, right? Investment houses. So they want to buy dollars because they're paying a higher yield, which they believe is secure because of the faith and promise of the US government, right, or the Federal Reserve. So they want to buy those dollars compared to other crap currencies, right? But really, if you think about it, that interest rate is still paltry compared to the real rate of inflation, okay? But what that's doing is causing Asian currencies reeling, all right? So we have issues over there. Japan just announced that it has now intervened in its Forex market for the first time in decades, right? That is a big deal. If you think about it, Japan has pretty much been in stagflation for about 20 something years, 25 years. And now it is running into the Forex market to prop up that market, right? This is out of CNBC a day ago. From the Fed to Europe's currency crisis. Europe's, not just UK's. Here's what's behind this sell-off in financial markets. So it's not just the UK, but it's also Europe, the EU as a whole. And I've been talking about this on my channel for a year. I am watching for the EU and the euro to collapse. And it is starting already because they're in an amazing energy crisis that they're having to step in and bail out energy companies, right? Again, 2 days ago, from the explainer, Japan intervenes in the currency market. Now what? If you look at the headlines right now, check this out. 2 days ago from Bloomberg, it's every nation for itself as dollar batters global currencies. Isn't this an interesting conundrum we find ourselves in right now? The world's currencies are collapsing and they're blaming the dollar because the Fed finally started raising rates, right? There are lots of countries with much higher rates. Ironically, right now, Turkey is facing 80% inflation right now, and their central bank just cut rates. Pretty amazing, huh? And we all know, or hopefully if you don't know, when you cut rates, that actually spurs inflation. It spurs speculation, right? Because that opens up credit more freely, cheaper money. It's cheap money. So around the world, we are seeing this all over the world, that currencies are collapsing. Again, an amazing case to own gold, to own real estate, but the right real estate, right? Producing real estate, cash flowing real estate, or real assets like water, oil, things like that, minerals in the ground. Because what's happening is as these currencies collapse, at a certain point, central banks around the world will have to intervene. Because if they don't, then their nation figures out what's going on. It's akin, again, to the Wizard of Oz, a little man controlling these strings behind a curtain of an emerald city, green, just like the color of our money, right? They took a gold brick road to get to. And ironically, if you read the book, The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's slippers were silver when she clinged them together. A little bit of history most people don't understand. And I believe The Wizard of Oz was written about the panic of, 1873? Let me know in the comment section if I got that right. Again, I'm going off of memory. I don't have notes or a whiteboard. I need to find a whiteboard. I don't have one. Right now, the world is preparing the smart money for a collapse. They all know it. And it blows me away. I love to read comments from you guys. And there are some people, there are a small few people that watch this channel. They don't even watch this channel. They come in, they say something stupid, and they walk away. For all we know, it's a bot. But says something like, you have no idea, this thing's going to keep going. It's like, it can only go so far. Well, now, just like it's exciting for me to be able to explain what it was like for me in 2008, you are now seeing a worldwide collapse. The world was under a lot of pressure financially back in 2006, 2007, but it wasn't until 2008 when the MBS, the mortgage-backed security markets, imploded, that ripple effect moved throughout the world, because the US essentially became, it was a consumer of goods all over the world. And then when we fell into recession, we stopped spending, we contracted our spending, and that shockwave hit the rest of the world, right? Because we slowed down our shipments. Right now, shipping indexes around the world are showing you, or telling you, that there's an issue. The FedEx president comes out and says, hey, we're in trouble, right? Well, he knows, because he's saying global shipments stalling around the world, and that means a contraction in spending. Human beings are not feeling confident in the wealth effect anymore. They're starting to contract. Now, if you think about it, we've only seen about a 20% haircut in the stock markets in the spring, right? And they bounced back. I talked about that was going to happen in May, that we're going to have this dead cat bounce, and we saw the Dow Jones come up a little bit. Now we've shaved off another 10%. Since I shorted the markets, about a month ago, I think the Dow Jones has lost about 10% of its value. And now we're in bear market territory with the Dow. It actually closed below 30,000. Again, a psychological barrier, right? So a lot of people are reading the newspapers this weekend. I'm putting this out tonight just to give you guys some food for thought. And it's not one of those things that you need to go panic and go sell things, okay? What you need to do is be very aware of what's going on and watch what's going on in the next few weeks. Because in the next few weeks, I can guarantee you one thing. The euro will everything will be okay, and it'll move out of the news cycle and onto something different, or it is going to be an absolute disaster. All right. And guys, for everybody that are listening from the UK, Great Britain, from Europe, please dive into the comment section and let us know here in America. Let us know in Canada and Australia, all around the world, in Asia. Let us know what it's like over there. We need boots on the ground, real stories, real information right now, because what's happening in the media is they're trying to hide it. Even with all of these headlines that I'm reading you right now, it is absolutely amazing. Think about this. When you start reading headlines like this about everybody's currencies going into panic because of the dollar, you have to remember too, there are countries that are walking away from the dollar, selling their reserves, like China, selling their reserves, like Russia, India. They're walking away. They're working on their own currency. They are also working with each other's currency to buy natural products, like actual resources like oil, gold, food, things like that. And I think people need to realize that the world is fracturing right now. And it's not to cause fear. You should get excited, because if you have a glimpse of something that's coming into the future, you're going to have an idea of what to do. And the more knowledge you get, the smarter you're going to be, and the more you're going to be able to take advantage of this. So I just wanted to give you some food for thought tonight. And I hope you guys have an awesome night. And I thank you so much. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody that's been hitting the thumbs up, that have been commenting and giving me your stories. I really appreciate it. That being said, the Economic Ninja is out.